Hello my darlings. Okay, I'm going to be doing a review for you today on Zukreat's, I hope I've said that name right, you know who she is, she's fabulous, on her new makeup collection, which is Artist of Makeup, which I'm going to start with the eyeshadow palette. Now I believe the eyeshadows come as singles and you kind of fill them up as you go along. There are different size palettes as well. I met her at the IMAX and she was absolutely glorious, just glorious. She's so beautiful as well, and her husband is ridiculously beautiful as well. They were all really beautiful. So yeah, lovely to look at, beautiful to look at. So here's the eyeshadow palette collection, and I've got more because she was lovely to me. So I received them. I'm going to swatch some of the colors for you here. I'm going to swatch the Figure color. I'm going to swatch the Turkish Delight. I'll show you them in a sec. I'll just swatch them with my fingers. I'll swatch the Black Smoke, the Starlight, and I think I'll go for Hollywood as well on my thumb. So you can see the colours here. They are all absolutely glorious, and there's a high amount of moisturising ingredients in these eyeshadows, which means they blend effortlessly. So they blend into one really, really smoothly. There's not a, let me just get rid of some of the, there's not a bad eyeshadow amongst the bunch of these. There absolutely isn't. So they're gorgeous, and I know that a lot of people will be absolutely loving them. Because of the pigmentation content, it means that women of colour are taken care of very, very nicely. They will appear on the skin as they do in the pan. I would suggest a nice primer with them, but I would suggest that with anything. On the back of my hand, which you've seen I've just rubbed, is the liner. I've had that on now for 2 days. It is absolutely lovely. I'm just going to show you it. It's a pen style liner, so you can do that wonderful thing where I mentioned in the video with taking it on its side and going across to get the perfect sort of cat eye, winged eye effect. Next is the foundations, which are called luminous foundations, and the name is accurate for the foundation. I'm wearing the foundation myself at the moment, so you can kind of see what it looks like on the skin. I've got a very large palette here which is filled with multiples and doubles of products because, well, why not really? They are lovely. They are what you would call a moisturizing luminous foundation. They're cream based, they are absolutely lovely, and they have no scent to them, and they leave a dewy luminous finish on the skin that is not matte but is not sparkly or shiny. They just go on really nicely. They also have an incredible amount of hold to them without powdering. Now what I would tend to do is just do a little bit of precision powdering, which is powder here, down the nose, under the eyelids, and just sort of this sort of center area here, and then leave the rest clean. But nothing negative to say. I actually have nothing negative to say about any of the range, which is quite surprising because I can always find something I don't like. And not lastly, but here's the blusher palette. Now, you can sort of see the colors here. They're real to life. This sort of shade here can be used as a highlighter on some skin tones or a blusher, but you'd have to be, this is sort of much more for your very, very fair skin girls. The color at the top, Sweet Valentine, is one of those colors that can be used universally on anyone. Look at the pigment, amazing. Razzle Dazzle, another wonderful color. And one of my favorites, now I'm just going to go and get it because I want to show you something, because there's a dupe here that's really quite splendid. Well, that didn't take me too long, did it? Right, there's this color here called Splendor. Now this is Splendor, which is right here. Now it's very, very similar. It's a little bit less peachy, but it's very, very similar to the colour Flush number 3 by Tom Ford. They both have that same kind of gorgeous luminous finish to them. I'm just going to swatch it on the back of my hand so you can kind of see it. Just that real kind of ethereal glow to it. Very much like NARS Orgasm, but absolutely gorgeous. A lot of pigment in here, so expect fallout, so make sure when you put your brush in you tap it off, of course. You know, I know you know this, but you know, it is worth bearing in mind with very pigmented products. When you touch them, oftentimes they can splay a little bit with product and, you know, be annoying. So, but that's perfectly fine, because I'd rather have a pigmented product than a non-pigmented product. And lastly, actually there's some brushes I'm going to show you as well. These are the contouring sticks. There's 2 contouring and 1 highlighting. This is the darkest one, which is in dark. I'm just going to swatch it on the back of my hand. No annoying smell, no fragrance or irritants. It blends in beautifully and blends in gorgeously with the foundations as well. So you know me, the way I would use these is I would use them before foundation to draw lines all over the face, and then go over with the luminous foundation. There's the light shade as well, which is actually pretty light, as you can see here on the back of my hand. So here, under the eyes, cheekbones, then contour with the darker colour, and there's a sort of mid-range colour here as well. Also worth noting actually in the blush palette is this Half-Baked, which could be used as a bronzer as well, because it's got a bit of a red undertone. So careful with it, but would work quite nicely with that. And lastly but not least, this is funny because I had lots of messages saying, are you going to review the brushes? Because I have my own coming out. Of course I'm going to review the brushes. So this is what I got. I won't show you them all because we'd be here all day. But let me just say, the brushes are lovely. There's nothing wrong with any of the brushes. This is a great little duo fiber brush, which you can use to blend in cream foundations, used with powders and creams, of course. So it's absolutely lovely. There are several crease brushes. Let me just get them for you. So there's sort of several choices of crease brushes. This is, of course, like a very, very similar MAC 224 brush, but it's actually softer than the MAC one, because the MAC one you can exfoliate your eyelids with. It's not very lovely. And then you've got a much sort of stiffer brush. This has got a bit of an angle on it because I've had it kind of kept in the brush roll and screwed up. And this is soft. You can go into the crease on the eyelids. I'm not a fan of lay down brushes, which are sort of like standard eyeshadow brushes, because I just think that we don't want to use those, do we? A smudger brush or a small brush to go underneath the eyelids with or across the eyelid. There is a standard foundation brush, which is quite thick and dense and works very, very nice. There's larger brushes, of course. There's this great sort of stippling brush, which has got quite a flat top, which would work quite lovely with the foundation actually. And then there's a smaller one which you can go in with concealer, and a fan brush. This is actually a very, very soft fan brush, so that's nice. In case you're wondering what I've got on my cheeks, because I'm cheeky, I've actually got on Cheeky Cherry. Is it Cheeky Cherry? These naughty names. It is Cheeky Cherry, which is this shade here, which is what I've put on for the tutorial. So, why not? So you can see what it looks like. And there you go, that's my review. There really is nothing negative to say, other than the fact that she is, and her whole family are just beautiful. You know that kind of beautiful where they're a little bit too beautiful and you're like, oh. But yeah, and her husband has the most amazing eyes you've ever seen. They're like a really pale green. I was looking at his eyes going, I want those. Beautiful, absolutely splendid. So thank you. I feel very, very pleased that I have been given the chance to review these. Even more so, I think, the fact that, I always try and be very honest with my reviews. So the fact that this was sent to me, knowing full well I may not like it or may give it a negative review, it's a great that there's that level of trust that she's sort of like, well, I just want your real opinion on it, and this is my real opinion. There's little cases that hold smaller ones of the eyeshadows if you don't want to carry a really big large set with you, and of course blushes and smaller ones, so you can pick and choose. What a wonderful girl, absolutely absolutely divine and beautiful. So that's my review. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.